What's up, Audit fans, and welcome to This Week in Audit. This week I come to you on location in Melbourne, and I'm here for the Chartered Accountants Audit Conference. Let's get into it. With internal controls, we try and do everything we can to make sure that systems, make sure that people are doing the right things. But human error is always a possibility. So in our last week since we chatted, there was a significant error at Samsung. So what exactly happened? An employee of the firm accidentally paid out a dividend to its employees in the form of the company's own shares. Some employees realized that they had these shares and then sold them before Samsung could actually put an embargo to prevent trading. All in all, Samsung lost $140 billion. That's a big mistake from pressing the wrong button. Our next story is about gift cards. Have you ever received a gift card as a gift and think, great, I'm going to spend this, and then somehow later on you forget about it, you find it in your wallet, a year later you go to spend it at the store and they say, oh, I'm sorry, it's expired. Now, gift cards create all sorts of accounting issues, but in New South Wales there is now a government law that requires you to honour a gift card for a period of 3 years. That means that if you sell a gift card, technically that should sit as unearned revenue until that gift card is redeemed. Now, you need to leave it sit there in unearned revenue for 3 years, and then after 3 years, if it hasn't been redeemed, you can transfer that into revenue. Consistency across one state makes it easier for consumers and also for accountants and auditors who have to make sure that companies are following the same regulations. Now, if you're auditing an organization that is in multiple states, then I can see a significant issue for auditors. You're going to need to make sure that you're following the right state guidelines on gift cards. So some states may have none, whereas you may be auditing parts of sales within New South Wales where there is that 3-year requirement. So that's going to require some extra attention for auditors. Now, we know that computers and the internet are often thought of as the backbone of society, and yesterday Woolworths were in big trouble. A technical glitch with their master price list meant that for a short period of time they couldn't sell anything. All stores had to close because they couldn't process any transactions. There was an issue apparently with the backup of that price list. Something got corrupted within the system. They tried to switch to their backup. It didn't work either, and so the entire store had to close. It's really important to ensure that when companies have a huge reliance on IT, like any of these networked point of sale systems, there are redundancies and backups. Now, those did exist at Woolworths, but the question I want to ask is, were they testing them on a regular basis? In my very, very former previous life when I worked at Coopers and Lybrand, one of the things we always asked clients was, well, you have a redundancy and a backup plan, but are you testing it? Shutting down the system and trying to switch to your backups to make sure they're okay. There's nothing worse than going to the backup file and then finding out that it's corrupted. Woolworths say that their systems ultimately self-corrected themselves, but it's a lot of bad press. They had over 2,000 tweets about the issue in just 1 hour. That's all the news I have for now. I'm starting to get really hungry, and we're in Melbourne, and Melbourne is known as a bit of a foodie's paradise. So I'm off to try and find some dumplings.